I've been using both free and paid AI video generators for months now, and the difference between them isn't what most people think. There's this assumption that free tools are just worse versions of paid ones, but that's not true. I'm going to show you exactly what free generators can actually achieve, then compare that to what paid tools deliver so you can see the real difference for yourself. There are actually some solid free AI video generators out there, and they can create usable content if you know how to work with them. You'll find links to all the tools I'll show you in the description below. The first one I want to show you is Veer. Most people haven't heard of it, but it's completely free and doesn't even require you to log in. You can generate images and animate them without creating an account. When you open Veer, you'll see text to image and image to video options. The workflow is simple. I tested it by generating an old pocket watch lying open in tall grass at dusk with fireflies starting to glow around it. The image came out with nice depth and moody lighting. Then I animated it by prompting one firefly to land on the watch face while the second hand ticks forward. What's cool about Veer is it separates your action prompt from your camera prompt. So I could write firefly lands, watch ticks in one field, and slow circular dolly around the watch in another field. The result was actually pretty smooth. The clock hand movement felt intentional, and the firefly's glow pulsed naturally as it landed. It's not Hollywood quality, but for a free tool, it delivered what I asked for. The main thing you'll notice is, it has a slightly rendered look, like a video game cutscene. But if you're creating content where that style works, Veer handles it well. The interface is pretty bare bones, and the outputs have that rough around the edges feel, but it gets the job done. Now, if you want something that feels more professional, Grok takes a different approach. This one's backed by a major company, which shows in the cleaner interface and more refined outputs. When you sign up for free, you land in their Imagine section, where you can see what other people have generated. I generated a jazz musician playing saxophone in a dimly lit underground club, with smoke swirling through colored stage lights. Grok gave me multiple variations automatically as I scrolled, which saved time. When I animated it, I prompted the musicians to sway with the music while the camera slowly circles him. The video came out atmospheric. The smoke moved naturally through the light beams, and the scene had real depth. Grok works especially well for stylized content. If you're going for something artistic rather than photorealistic, it handles that really well. I also tested it with a lone astronaut planting a flag on an alien planet with 2 moons visible in the sky. The animation showed him turning to look up at the moons. The movement was smooth and the style felt cinematic, but you can clearly tell that it's AI generated. That rendered look is hard to get rid of with Grok. That's where Meta AI stands out from the other two. This one surprised me because it actually pushes closer to realism, plus it has features most free generators skip. You can adjust variety, weirdness, and stylization. That last setting is important because it controls how realistic your images look. I generated a steaming cup of coffee on a rain-covered windowsill, with blurred city lights bokeh in the background and raindrops running down the glass. The image looked like an actual photograph, and then I animated it by prompting steam rising from the cup while new raindrops streaked down the window. The result was clean. The steam moved naturally, the raindrops fell at the same speed, and the whole scene felt authentic. It also lets you generate video from scratch, starting with an image, but you obviously have less control over the final result. I tested it with a time lapse of storm clouds rolling over a wheat field as the wind bends the stalks in waves. The video came out with good color grading and smooth motion. For a free tool, that's impressive. So if you're just starting out or testing ideas, free generators give you a solid foundation without spending money. But let me show you what happens when you step up to paid tools, because the gap is bigger than you might think. When you move to paid AI video generators, you're not just getting a faster version of the free tools. You're getting access to completely different models built for professional output. And the smartest way to access them is through an all-in-one platform like OpenArt, where every major generator lives in the same dashboard. Instead of subscribing to 5 different services, you open OpenArt and choose between Sora 2, VO3, Kling, and many more. That means you can test which model works best for your specific project without switching accounts. To follow along, use the link in the description to sign up for OpenArt. Let me show you what these models can actually do. Starting with Sora 2, this one's built by OpenAI, and it's designed for maximum realism. The goal is to create videos that look like they were shot with a real camera in a physical location. I tested it with a blacksmith hammering glowing metal on an anvil in a dark forge, with sparks flying and the orange glow illuminating his face. Prompted for close-up on the hammer strikes, with each impact sending sparks into the air and the metal gradually taking shape. The result looked like documentary footage. The detail in the sparks, the way the metal deformed with each strike, the sweat on his face catching the forge light, all of it felt real. The audio was just as impressive. It made the whole scene feel alive. And this is the first major difference you'll notice. With free tools, you're hoping the AI gets close to your vision. With Sora 2, you're directing exactly what you want, and it executes it. That level of control doesn't exist in the free tier. This difference isn't because the companies are holding back features. It's because generating AI video costs real money. Every time you hit generate, there's server power being used, and someone has to pay for that. That's why free tools put you at the back of the queue. Your generations take longer because paid users get priority. It's also why resolution is capped, usually at 720p or lower. Higher resolutions cost more to process, and you're working with older models. The cutting-edge generators, the ones that handle complex motion and fine details, are reserved for paid tiers. The other thing you'll notice is prompt adherence. Free tools don't follow instructions as precisely. You might ask for a specific camera angle and get something close but not exact. That means more regenerations, which eats up time. With Sora 2, I got that blacksmith shot right on the first try. Free tools also cap your daily generations and lock you into lower resolutions. When you're working on actual projects with deadlines, those limitations stack up fast. But paid tools remove those caps entirely, and you can generate as much as you need at the highest quality available. Now, Sora 2 costs more credits than other models because it's processing more data and delivering higher quality output, but you don't always need that level of heavy processing for every single shot. When you want to balance high quality results with a lighter, faster workflow, Google Veo 3 is your sweet spot. I ran a test with a street artist spray painting a mural on a brick wall at sunset, with the paint colors glowing in the golden hour light. I prompted for side angle tracking shot moving along the wall as he works, revealing more of the mural. The result was just as realistic as Sora 2. The spray paint mist caught the light naturally, the colors blended smoothly on the wall, and the artist's movements looked authentic. But Veo 3 generated it in half the time. When you're trying out ideas or producing multiple videos, that speed adds up, and you're still getting that precise control that free tools can't offer. The camera followed my exact instructions, the lighting stayed consistent, and there were no weird glitches. Veo 3 also handles camera control really well. I tested it with a skateboarder doing a kickflip down a set of stairs in an urban plaza, prompted for low angle shot following the board through the trick with the city skyline visible in the background. The camera tracked the board perfectly through the flip, caught the landing, and kept the composition tight. That kind of cinematic control is perfect for realism. But if your projects demand flexibility across different genres and visual aesthetics, there's another model that handles that even better. That's where Kling comes in. This model stands out because it's versatile, and it's also the cheapest one yet. It handles realism, but it also works for stylized content, motion graphics, and even animated looks. I tested it with a product shot, a high-end mechanical watch with exposed gears, rotating slowly on a dark surface with dramatic rim lighting highlighting the gold components. The result looked like a luxury commercial. The gears turned smoothly, the lighting created perfect highlights on the metal, and every tiny detail was sharp. Kling also generated subtle audio to make the video feel complete. Now, to test it with something completely different to the other tools, let's create a cartoon-style animation of a kid running through a park chasing a kite. The animation here looks great, the colors are vibrant, and the style is consistent throughout. That's what makes Kling so valuable. You're not locked into one aesthetic, it adapts to whatever your project needs. And because it costs less than Sora 2 or Veo 3, you can generate more variations without burning through your budget. That flexibility is something free tools simply can't match. With free generators, you're stuck with whatever style the model defaults to. With Kling, you choose the style that fits your project. So now you've seen both sides. Free generators work for testing ideas and creating stylized content, but paid tools give you something free generators can't. Complete control over your output, faster generation times, higher resolutions, and access to the latest models. The truth is, free tools are built to get you in the door. They show you what's possible, but they're designed with limitations that push you toward paid tiers. If you're serious about creating content and want these tools for professional work, you can only get that done with the higher end models, but their quality is worth every penny. All of these paid tools are amazing, however, subscribing to each one individually would cost you thousands of dollars. And when a newer, better model comes out, you'll have to pay for that too. That's why OpenArt exists. You get every major model in one subscription. And this doesn't just stop with video generation. OpenArt gives you access to every tool you'll need to handle your entire creative workflow from start to finish. So if you're serious about creating professional content, click the link in the description and sign up for OpenArt. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.